Have you been having financial struggles? Have you been worried about your financial situation? Been at the gas pump, not knowing if you're going to be able to cover all of your bills, expenses, etc., etc. This topic has been on my mind because I recently did a poll and I wanted to know where my audience, my viewers, my listeners are, what your situation is. And the results are back, and it came back that 60% of my audience is either at 50,000 or less, and 40% of my audience is at $29,000 per year earning or less. This isn't to knock anybody. This isn't to down anybody, but I said in that post that I made that I want to be able to add value to you so that you can get better by 1 degree each day and become more productive, successful, and eventually have more options. And that's what income does. So my name's Monte Lee. I am the host of the Karat Juice Podcast. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the situation that is facing so many people in the culture right now, which is money issues, financial instability. And I'm not only going to give you the problem in this episode, but I think it's very important for us to be able to progress is for you to have a solution to that problem. And that's what we're going to do here today. So the major problem and issue that's facing so many people, I'm going to be focusing on young people, millennials to be exact, because the majority of my audience is between the age of 38 to 25. So that would put you smack dab in the millennial generation. Me, myself, I am a millennial, and I think it's important for us to kind of be able to resonate and actually understand what is going on with the millennials and with young people in the culture and our finances, because there's a lack of financial literacy, I've realized. So here we go. We're going to go right into the content. I don't want to waste your time. I want to value that. And the first thing that I wanted to bring up today is the shocking statistic here that 58%, okay, check this out, 58% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, all right? That's a shocking statistic. All right. 30% of those earning $250,000 or more. Now, when I first saw that, I was like, hold on. Bruh. How are you living paycheck to paycheck at $250,000 or more that you're earning per year? But it happens. And that's a budgeting issue. That has nothing to do with your income at that point, if I must say. That's definitely a budgeting issue. And let's continue. So I also wanted to get into here. Inflation being at a 40-year high, more than half of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Consumers who are struggling to afford their day-to-day lifestyle tend to rely on credit cards and carry higher monthly balances, making them financially vulnerable. Is that you? Is that your situation? Is that something that you're experiencing? We're going to tackle that today in this episode. All right. I wanted to get into this portion here. As of May, 58% of Americans, roughly 150 million adults live paycheck to paycheck, according to a new report. That's down slightly from 61% who reported living paycheck to paycheck in April. Okay. And it goes into that right there with the $250,000 or more people. 30% of them are living paycheck to paycheck, but they just need a budget. All right. They just need a budget. Bruh. All right. So let's continue. Consumers have experienced a tough last couple of years. Different factors have affected their financial lifestyle, and there seems to be little relief in sight. Okay. Inflation is impacting it, especially with millennials, but due to our lack of financial literacy, credit card balances contribute to financial vulnerability. Those struggling to afford their day-to-day lifestyle tend to rely more on those credit cards, okay? And I'll tell you a story. Me personally, I have been affected by that. When I was 18, I was not that financially aware and adept, and I didn't understand a lot about finances. And I took out a credit card. And there has been studies and there's research to show that when it comes to credit cards, people are more likely to spend money with the plastic, with the credit card, than cash. Because if you are paying for something, it's been proven that you feel the pain of that purchase if you're actually handing cash over rather than plastic. And that's where the dilemma comes if you're not financially sound and if you don't have financial literacy. Disclaimer, this is not financial advice, but I think that making sure that you're doing the best that you can to kind of work that muscle of becoming more financially astute and having more knowledge and making sure that you're tending to your financial health will help you tend to the money that you do earn and be able to have more options and more peace as a result of it. And that's what I want to give you today in this episode. So we're going to continue on with the program. And I wanted to get into a major factor that's affecting so many people in the current times we're in, and that's the inflation. Those are those prices, the price of food going up, the price of gas, the price of everything that you're dealing with, the price of your groceries, because that all ties into why people are feeling the pinch. And if you're not aware, I'll just give you a little breakdown here. If you're not aware of what inflation is, this is inflation. Inflation is a rise in prices, which can be translated as the decline of purchasing power over time. The rate at which purchasing power drops can be reflected in the average price increase of a basket of selected goods, as I said before. All right. So inflation is the rate at which prices of goods and services rise. It is sometimes classified into three types: demand pull, cost push, and built-in inflation. I'm not going to go that far in depth with it. Just know inflation is something that you will not be able to avoid. Inflation will be here. It's going to be here for the long haul. It ebbs and flows at the rate and the percentage of inflation, but anybody who studied economics, who knows anything about finances, will tell you, you always have to account for inflation when it comes to being financially healthy. All right. And one of the major things that we're going to talk about today is being able to equip yourself that you will be able to factor that in and still thrive financially by what I'm going to tell you here and what I alluded to with the topic of this video, which is you're going to need something to be able to get more income. All right. If you're getting value out of this episode, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. For my audio listeners, please rate and review the podcast. 5-star, 5-star, 5-star if you are getting value. And we're talking about the millennial generations, as I alluded to. I'm a millennial, and the millennials, we've had a tough go of things. All right. We've really had some difficult times just going through life because of, first of all, 2008, what happened? We had the housing crash. So right when we're about to go to college, or we're in college for a couple of years, we're thinking about getting out, getting into our careers, the housing market tanks. So the economy is on a downturn, right? Then a couple of years back, all right, we're all facing this C-19 scenario where that affected the economy and it went on another downturn. It went stagnant. It decreased. We all know that. For some businesses, they thrived in C-19, but that was an exception, not the rule. And now we're facing this inflation. So we've been through the ringer. Millennials, we have been through the ringer when it comes to our financial health and stability, but never fear. We're going to get right down to what the problem is, and I have solutions as well. So millennials here, millennials have an inadequate financial knowledge. That is part of the problem. Inadequate financial knowledge. It indicates here, among the overall population, millennials are the age group with the lowest level of financial literacy. Lowest level. All right. Only 24% demonstrated basic financial literacy. Why they're not teaching this in the schools, I have no idea. Why are we not teaching financial literacy in the schools? That's something that I've thought about for so long. There's so many things in school like social studies, science, English is very important, but there's so many different things that you learn in school that you don't use every day. But one thing that anybody that is a functioning adult is going to use is finances, is balancing a checkbook, is being able to budget and all that. Why are we not teaching this in the schools? All right. A lack of financial knowledge may jeopardize millennials' financial success. Exactly. And it already has shown to be true. It already has shown to be true. Millennials are in a pickle. All right. We're in a pickle. Let's show here. And part of that reason is what I told you before. But let's get into the spending habits of millennials and part of the reason why we're in such a difficult straits right now. It's very tough out here for millennials. All right. Millennial spending habits. Okay. Our spending habits are trash. On average, millennials will have spent nearly $93,000 on rent by the time they turn 30. The landlord is like,
got him. Got him.
What can we do with that? A lot of us could have homes. Okay. A lot of people are struggling to try to buy a home. Why do you think the tiny home thing has gotten so big? It's because of millennials. All right. Because we couldn't afford homes. All right. The reason more millennials aren't homeowners is simple. Can't afford it. All right. It's an income issue. Burdened by student loan debt. All right. Debt and cost of living. Most millennials choose to wait for significant life events like getting married, having children, and buying a house. This is the problem. This is the issue. We spend about $164 a month on entertainment. It's been proven that millennials tend to spend more money on experience rather than things. I have no problem with that. I think that's actually cool. All right. Millennials spend more money on coffee than retirement. Now that's crazy. I'll admit. All right. Guilty as charged. I do love a good coffee. I like a cortado, some Ethiopian beans, a nice drip coffee. Guilty as charged. But to spend more on it than retirement is a recipe for disaster. All right. And we'll help you with that here in this episode. Millennials get takeout 2 or 3 times per week. Millennials, 54% of them are spending, it says around 54% of millennial spending happens online. So we're spending online the majority of the time, which is different than previous generations. All right. And here is the money. Let's get down to the money portion of this. Millennials spend an average of $47,000 a year. And the highest ticket items for millennials are rent, housing, eating out, and apparel and services. Millennials have an average of $100,000 in debt. Okay, $100,000 in debt. All right, that's the issue. That is the problem here. That's what we're facing, and it could be scary. And I don't want people to get discouraged. Okay. But these are big issues that are facing a lot of people, a lot of you all. All right. And we went into that. We went into the stats. We went into what's going on. Now I want to get into some solutions for you because I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. Here are some solutions that you can do to change your situation. As I prefaced before, in the audience, the majority of people are making $50,000 or less. And here in 2022, that's not going to be enough to live on for the long term, especially with the way it's going with inflation. All right. More people are getting evicted more than ever. People just aren't having the best quality of life due to them worrying about their finances, not sure what the future holds, living paycheck to paycheck or close to that. A lot of people don't even have $1,000 emergency fund, which you should have. So some things that you can do is increase your skills. there is a lack of skill when it comes to people in the market. And that's the reason why people are getting paid less than they could be garnering, because there's a skill deficit in the market. The majority of people who are making around, let's say, definitely between $35,000 and under $35,000 or under, the majority of the time it's a skill, there's a skill gap when it comes to what you're bringing to the market. And that's the reason why you're not getting paid more for your time. All right. Your time is the most valuable resource that you have. And I want to make sure that you are being compensated for that time you're spending. OK, so some things that you can do tactically to be able to be somebody that's going to earn more is you can improve your soft skills. And what are soft skills? Soft skills are your ability to communicate. They're your ability to critically think, to have, to work with a team. All right. To lead people, to actively listen. It helps you to be somebody that people want to be around, that can build and work and be flexible with people. And these are skills that are crucial and very sought after in the marketplace, but they are hard to develop because so many people, especially the millennial generation, we grew up with this. We grew up with the iPhone and we didn't develop as many social skills as previous generations. And it even gets worse with Gen Z because they've known social media and stuff the whole time. We've kind of got the full spectrum. And I remember a time when there was no iPhones and stuff like that. So I do have a leg up on that because I'm a bit of an older millennial. But nonetheless, improving your soft skills is a guaranteed way to get your foot in the door with a lot of companies that are going to be compensating you in a great way because you are going to be an asset to their team. So you need to figure out how to improve your soft skills. All right. Your ability to communicate, your ability to actively listen, those type of things. OK. Your ability to be self-motivated and driven. These are all things that companies are seeking. All right. And I want to get into some more solutions. All right. Let's increasing your guys' income. OK, how can we increase your income? If you don't have your high school diploma, that's going to be very difficult. You can go get your GED, look up your local area to at least get a GED. All right. Because that's something that you can do and it shouldn't cost you that much or take you that much time. Now, that being said, high school diploma at least. All right. What you can do and what you need to do is at least try to get into a trade. I have always told people, hey, you don't have to go to college. All right. You don't have to go to college, but getting into the trades is a surefire way for you to be able to earn and develop and have a skill that's valuable to the market. OK, I'm going to put some resources in the description and in the show notes of this episode that's going to have you be able to reach out and figure out what you can do as far as when it comes to the trades. All right. So many trades are in high demand. And what are the trades? I'm going to show you this list here of what the trades are. Let's see here. So these are the trades that I'm talking about. Let me get this pulled up. We need some actionable steps. These are things you can do if you're financially in a pickle. All right. You don't have a degree, but you still want to make more money, earn more money. This is very valuable information. OK, you need to get into the trades. OK, HVAC, heating and cooling here. You could be a machinist. All right. Locksmith. All right. A mechanic. All right. There's more trades than that. You can get into construction. Think about how many people are out building houses. That's not going to stop. Real estate is not going to stop. You need to make yourself somebody in the market where You have job security. People are always going to be building houses. And if they're not building houses, they're going to need their houses to be repaired, maintained, all that type of stuff. All right. Remodels. You could be a carpenter, electrician, painter. I would recommend electrician, plumbing. Okay. Those are very sought after. And you can, after you get your certification, which doesn't take that much time, after you get your certification, you work under a senior, a journeyman tradesman, you could start your own business, be a self-employed person, and blue collar trades people can make a ton of money. There's no reason for you to not be doing this. All you got to do is, have some initiative, figure out which trade you want to go into, do a little research on it, and start working towards that goal. These are actionable things that you can do if you want to make more money, earn an income, and free up your time and free up your options. All right. That's what I want you to do. There's also industrial trades such as ironworking, steam engineer, cargo freight engineer. The list goes on and on. All right. You have medical trades, phlebotomy, dental assistant, medical assistant. You can go into culinary. All right. I wouldn't recommend these as much unless you're talking about chef here, just because it's not as needed. All right. I mean, people at the end of the day, when it comes to industries, you want to pick a trade. Let me show myself full screen here. You want to pick a trade where no matter what, people are going to need your service. At the end of the day, when crap hits the fan and people's money is tight, they'll stop going out to eat. But you know one thing, people are not going to just let their plumbing get out of whack if there's a leak in their toilet or their basement starts getting flooded. They're going to need that. It's essential. You want to get a trade that's essential, that people are going to have that business. That's what I would recommend. Okay. All right, let's continue here. And what do you need? How to enter a trade. All right. This is what I wanted to show you. Actionable things. How to start a trade. All right. Here. That's what I talk about with completing high school, right? To start a trade, you need this. How to enter a trade. Complete high school. All right. Ding, or get a GED. Like I said before, high school diploma or a GED. Fair enough. You need to pick your trade. And I said you should more likely than not be trying to pick a trade that is something that's essential. Electrician, HVAC, plumbing. Okay. Select your program and then obtain an apprenticeship. All right. So it says here, the next step is search for an apprenticeship program that allows you to develop skills while you're trained on the job. You may find apprenticeships through the local trade unions, training institutions, professional associations, or employment agencies and programs. Okay. They say that these apprenticeships typically take about 1 to 6 years to complete, depending on the trade. And you can expect to learn your trade, gain specialized skills, and receive some payment for it. So you also can get paid during this time. You probably could get paid more than you're making right here in this moment. Something to think about. And you also need to get licensed, okay? You need to get licensed to do this. So it says here, the trades that require a license are the ones that are going to be paying a little bit more, okay? Electricians, HVAC, plumbing. Okay. These are things that you need to be thinking about. This is the top 3 that I would say are something that you should be thinking about for sure if you want to increase that income. All right. Asbestos too. That's pretty good because you got to have that. That's some type of mold, I believe, where you can't have that. So it's also going to be essential. So I think that that's something that you should think about possibly getting to as well if you don't want to go the electrician, HVAC, plumbing route. Okay. So those are some options for somebody that wants to increase their income. They're not liking where they are. Like, listen, man, I've been there. I understand. And it's not fun. I've been laid off twice before. I've been in situations where I got bill collectors, hunting me down and all that type of stuff when I wasn't in the best shape. And it's not a good feeling. And one thing I wanted to tell you and what I wanted to say is, I think far too often people don't talk about their financial situation. People don't talk about the struggles that they have and that they've been through. And I think the majority of people who are going through this type of thing, they don't talk about it. They feel some type of, anxiety around it. And that could be the real detriment to your growth because you're not facing it head on. I'm giving you actionable steps here in this live because I want you to not dwell and say, woe is me in your situation. Hey, if you're content with where you are when it comes to making income, cool. But this is for people who want to increase their income. They want to get some skills and they want to improve their quality of life. Then by all means, please, these are some things that you can do to really help and change what you got going on. And that's why I want to be of value to you here today. Do me a favor, like the video if you're getting value, subscribe to the channel, share this stream out to anybody that you think would enjoy it, and we'll continue on. All right. And I also found something else. If you don't want to get into the trades, another thing, all right, which is very important for anybody who is tech savvy, who's online, who think they has a good eye and that's creative, you could do this. All right. I found this to be interesting. You could get a salary for being a video editor. All right. Do you have good video editing skills? Do you have a good eye for content and creating content? You could become an editor. All right. You could train yourself. You can get experience doing it. You could work under a YouTuber, or you could go to some film academy. You could figure out and you could become an editor, and you can make anywhere based on your skill level from $34,000 to $152,000. $152,000 a year is life-changing for a lot of people being an editor. All right. It's something that you should think about. Okay. So let's continue on. I have some more things to show you today. I also wanted to get into, so if you don't want to be an editor, the next thing I wanted to talk about is something that somebody that I really respect talked about. His name's Ali Abdaal. He was going to school. He became a doctor. He's here on YouTube. He talks about productivity. He talks about the mentality of successful people. And I have a lot of respect for him. And he mentioned that people should learn how to code because it's a great opportunity and it's something that's very needed in the marketplace. And if you learn how to code, even with a high school diploma, you can learn how to code and you can have a skill that so many companies want. So many people that create apps and programs on the back end of their analytics of their business and etc. And you can make big money. You can make yourself a really valued commodity by learning how to code. And there's seminars and there's training programs and things that are going on. If you just look online and you care to look, where you can learn how to code for free and you can have a skill that's going to make you well into the six figures via coding. Okay. Things are possible for you here. So I pulled this up here and I wanted to show you how to start coding, the ultimate guide for beginner programmers. Okay. And that's what I talked about here. You can download this free intro guide, and with time, dedication, internet access. And I would guess that everybody that's listening to this episode or watching me right now on YouTube has internet access. So you have everything that you need. There's no excuse to not do this if you want to learn how to code. Anyone can learn to code. If you're reading this, that includes you. That's why in this guide, we'll unpack everything you need to know to start writing code. And it goes in through everything. Why to learn code, how to start coding, coding versus programming, coding for beginners. And what is coding, you ask? What is coding? Coding is the process of using programming languages to give instructions to a computer. These instructions power the websites, software, and applications people use every single day. Okay? This is important. This is important. You don't like where you are in your financial situation. You want to earn more money. You're in the $20,000 range or $30,000 range and $40,000 range. You should learn the code. If you're making $40,000 right now, entry level, let me show you this. Entry level with coding, it could help you earn more. The average entry level salary in the US is $40,000 in 2022, but the average starting salary for a programmer, coder, is more than twice as much. Entry level, $85,000. Would that change your situation drastically? $85,000 a year. Would that change your situation? There was a book or there was a study, if I recall correctly, where they surveyed people about their quality of life and happiness levels with income, right? And if I recall correctly, the study concluded with, after you get to around the $70,000 mark, I think it was like $75,000 per year, there's not much change in happiness when you go up incrementally after that. Of course, people who are very wealthy can be happy and all that, but they say right around the $75,000 a year range, there's not much change in happiness that's statistically significant. You know, change that for inflation. It might be a little higher now, but you get the point. $85,000 a year could change your whole, trajectory of what you got going on in life if you're living near the poverty level right now. Keep that in mind, and you can learn how to code for free. Take that nugget there. I don't want to just give you the problem. I want to give you solutions, actionable things that you can do to change what you have going on. Are you tracking with me? Is this helping you out? If it is, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you're planning on starting to get into the trades. If you're already doing trades, let me know what you want to do. And hey, let me know if you're content. Let me know if you're content with what you make. I don't want to knock anybody. I just want to give you the tools, the information, so that you can make the choice for yourself and you could be more financially aware, of what the options are out here, because there are so many options for people. Okay. So that's the intent. And that's what was on my mind here, because I don't like to just see the negativity. I talk about productivity here on this podcast for a reason, because I think it's important for people to see and know that there's a better way to do things. And there's a way to help people to have passion and be passionate about the things that you're talking about. And it doesn't always have to be in the form that you think it is. It doesn't have to be going to a job. It could be you working for yourself. It could be you freelancing. And we're going to get into the next thing here. You can make money writing. Are you a good writer? Are you somebody that's a good writer? Do you know how to write? Well, you can make money freelance writing through this writer's work. All right. I looked this up. Writer's work. Okay. And it says writer's work connects anyone interested in writing with companies that need them desperately. We have thousands of writing jobs available and all of the training tools and support you need to land the best writing jobs. Okay. So you could start a career as a freelance writer today. Set your own hours and work from home. How much does it pay? And what do you need? You need to be 18, reliable internet connection, which you should have, excellent customer service, willing to do great work for great pay. And freelance writers can earn anywhere from $20 an hour to $65 an hour. Let's just do the math on that. How much is $65 an hour per year? If you're making $65 an hour, that's $135,000 a year. That will change your situation. Even if you were making $40 an hour, that would change your situation. And it's freelance, so work as much as you want. Okay? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Your mindset and your mentality needs to change. If you are not content with where you are, if you want more, if you want to do better, if you want to earn more, you have to make the decision. Okay? There's no reason with all of the resources that we have now, with the advent of social media, with all of the resources online, free coding seminars, people willing to take you under their wing as an apprentice, and you can learn how to be a plumber. You can learn how to be an electrician. You can learn how to be a heating and cooling technician. Why? Why are you currently still in the situation that you're in if you want to get out of it? I'm just going to say it like this, and I don't want to offend anybody, but a lot of people are just content with where they are because they aren't aware of the options that are out there. Well, that changes here with this platform. I'm going to use my podcast to tell people and show people a different way. There's a way to be successful, to provide for your family, to provide for the people you're around, to improve your situation, and it doesn't mean college. If you want to go to college, cool, but you can change everything you got going on. You can dictate your pace on what you want to do. Because if you're a plumber or HVAC or whatever, you can have your own business. You can hire people. You can improve the quality of life of people around you, lift people up. There's so many great things that don't get talked about when it comes to the trades, coding, okay? Increasing and getting better at your skill set. If you're a creative person and you are a good editor and you have a good eye for content, you could go work under somebody and edit for somebody, and you can have a career that way. All right. You can be a consultant and have your own, business doing that. There's so many avenues for people to be able to make money if you just think outside of the box for a minute and then move towards that goal. You know what I find happens far too often? People get complacent. People get comfortable in their situation. And once you get too comfortable in your situation, you stop growing. You, quote unquote, give up your biggest asset and your biggest resource in this world. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Oliver Burkeman has a book called 4,000 Weeks. Everybody who lives a full life has 4,000 weeks to live. That's it. 4,000 weeks is what you got. You spent some of those, you've been living your life, you've had your ups and downs. But to put that into perspective, it kind of rang like ding for me. And I was just like, am I utilizing my time the way I want? Am I adding value to other people with what I'm doing right now? And I think more so than anything, you have to make your why bigger than yourself. Because if it's just about you, then life can just kind of get stale. And I don't want that for you. Don't be content. Get a plan. Figure out what you want to do with your life and then move towards it. All right. I've given you some information, hopefully, in this podcast episode today that's going to help you be able to do what you want to do, reach the goals you want to reach. And that's all I want to do at the end of the day, because there's too many resources out here, man. There's too many opportunities that people are passing by. And I understand that you don't have to have it all figured out right from the jump, but you literally have no excuse now with the information that I just provided you if you want to change your situation. Like I've said before, I'll be updating the show notes in the description. I'll have the resources to the links and some of the sources that we went over in this podcast episode. Just to recap, we talked about the problem that's facing so many millennials and young people, which is a lack of financial literacy. The reason why millennials are in such a bad shape financially and young people is we have student loan debt. All right. We spend too much going out to eat. We spend too much on credit cards, and that ties more into the financial literacy as well. And a lot of Americans, a lot of people, a lot of young people are living paycheck to paycheck. What's the solution to that? The solution to that is to get into the trades. Okay. I'll say it again. The solution to that is to get into the trades. All right. Also, you can learn how to code. You can go to a free seminar to learn how to do that as well. You also can learn how to edit. People need editors. You could learn how to edit. All right. And lastly, what I want you to do is think about what you really want. And if you're content with where you are, I'm not going to knock you. But if you want more, what are you going to do this week? Because remember, you have 4,000 weeks. What are you going to do this week to make sure that the weeks that you have coming in the future, in the years, in the moments, are ones that you'll feel fulfilled in, that you're moving towards something, that you're adding value to other people? What are you going to do this week to set yourself up so that you can get to and above your goals in the future? That's the type of mentality that I want you to have. And hey, that's been another episode of the Karat Juice Podcast. If you got value out of this, do me a favor one time for the YouTube algorithm. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime I drop some content. Also, make sure if you're watching the replay, let me know what you think about this episode. Are you thinking about going into a trade? Also, for my people who are watching that replay, go ahead and comment replay gang for the algorithm. And also for my audio listeners, I really appreciate you. Do me a favor, rate and review the podcast, 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. And like I say every time here at the Karat Juice Podcast, love someone, hug someone, do something good for someone, not expecting anything in return. And until next time, peace.